Flower Power Help, and today I'm going to answer a question that actually came from one of my coworkers. And she said, I want to try trail running, but I'm scared I'll fall. What's the secret? And the answer is that there is no secret, and you probably will fall, but it's okay, and you don't have to hurt yourself. You don't have to wind up injured. So my first piece of advice is to learn how to fall. And this is not specific to trail running. This is any type of sport or activity, martial arts, all that stuff. So basically, if you're falling, don't fight it. Don't try to catch yourself. The best thing to do, actually, if you're falling hard, is to roll and keep moving so that you don't take the brunt of that fall on a body part that's not meant to. So you can practice this like in the grass and stuff if you want to. And then my second piece of advice around falling is stick to less exposed trails until you're more skilled and confident. So you probably don't want to like take your first trail run like on the edge of a cliff. Basic stuff. My other advice is don't run with distractions. So you'll hear me talk a lot about mindful running, which I think is super nice in general, but it's really important in trail running. So if you're like listening to something, make sure it's something that doesn't take all your focus. And if you've got headphones in, you want to keep the volume low and one ear open anyway. But really, you do need to pay a little bit more attention to where you're putting your feet than you might if you were running like on a track or a really smooth road. My next suggestion is when you're trail running, try taking smaller steps. And this is especially important on the downhills, so just think quick feet. And if you need a cue for that, just try to like double the rhythm that you're running right now. And you might feel like you're taking little bird steps, but that can actually be a lot more stable than taking longer strides. The next thing I recommend is do some stability exercises. So think about anything that's strength work with a single leg stance. So like a single leg RDL is great, a split squat, even just balancing on one foot. All of these are great. And so if you don't strength train or you typically do stuff like regular squats and deadlifts with your weight evenly distributed, this is going to be really humbling. It's going to be hard, but it is so, so good for you. Another thing that I recommend is don't try to match your road pace. In fact, don't even look at your pace. So I would recommend that you go by time if you're training for something rather than distance or pace on the trails, because the terrain is going to impact your pace so much, and that stress on your body is more important than hitting a particular number. So don't get hung up on the pace. Finally, I would say that you'll trip more if you're tired, so make sure that you fuel adequately and that you're hydrated. Just pay extra attention to that, especially because you're not going to like pass a convenience store on your trail run the way that you might if you're running in town. I mean, you can be out in some changing conditions, so make sure that you account for that. And don't bite off more than you can chew. And then at the end of your run, just turn up your focus dial a little bit, because that's when you can catch a toe and go down. I'm famous for falling in the parking lot, so there's that. And then make sure that you've got footwear that has appropriate traction. So for trails that are like super buffed out or like a fire road, your road shoes are fine. But if it's rocky or it's wet or it's really muddy or it's really slippery, you'll really appreciate having some shoes with bigger lugs and sort of sticky bottoms. But besides that, the gear that you need, not really any different than you might have for a hike or a regular run. So don't be scared of trails. It's super fun. Go out there. Don't be afraid to slow down. Don't be afraid to walk uphill. Don't be afraid to ask other people for help, and have a great time.